Sure, my mic is on here. We might be all over the place here. Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. My name is Riley Magnuson. I am your solo host for the day here on the Closing Bell, Wednesday, March 29th. I am riding solo here. Jeff Dawson had to step out of the office. Left me the keys to the kingdom for the evening. Here for the short slate of action on Wednesday. Not too much going on. We'll have some NBA action coming down the pipe, and obviously, I'm not going to go too deep dive into anything, but talk about the start of MLB season coming up here tomorrow. Very excited. Bread and butter for Jeff Dawson. I have a lot of work to do. Single game capping on the MLB is not one of my strong suits, but I do love talking about the league. I love trying to learn more about the day-to-day aspects of trying to find an edge in baseball, and I just haven't been able to in past seasons as compared to some of my other sports that I cover. But at the end of the day, love baseball as much as these other sports. So I will be lockstep with Mr. Dawson in trying to bring some action to you every single day, as will obviously Scotty Webb. A baseball expert in these parts. So I am, like I said, gonna, as I usually do solo, keep these short and sweet. Gonna be pretty short and sweet with the slate of games tonight. I know there's some NHL games, but obviously, as I always say, that is not my specialty. I won't be diving too deep into those or at all. Only 3 games tonight, though. As far as college basketball is concerned, last night got to tip the cap to the one team that I was leaning towards got the cover, but North Texas and UAB, both Conference USA teams, advancing to the championship here for the NIT, and what a hell of a showing for the Conference USA as far as the mid-major setup goes here. You've got FAU, UNT, and UAB, top 3 teams. FAU in the Final Four, UNT, UAB in the championship for the NIT. So not enough is being, or at least I haven't been paying attention if anybody is. Not enough is being talked about that. So fantastic showing from the from Conference USA. A couple other solid teams this year as well, but didn't get a chance to stand up, obviously, and show anything off. Actually, Charlotte, the other team, wins the damn CBI. So I got to eat my words on that one. That one happened about exactly a week ago, and Charlotte wins the damn CBI. So somehow, without anybody knowing, we've got an entire Conference USA takeover. Middle Tennessee, the other top 5 team in that conference, is the only one that didn't make those waves. So 4 of the top 5 teams having some pretty damn solid postseason success. Tomorrow, though, UAB -2 I'm looking at right now. UAB -2 over North Texas is the spread right now for tomorrow. 127.5, 128 is the total. That game last night, you had UNC Charlotte. I know these Conference USA teams, TJ. We need to give them some love here. North Texas and Wisconsin, 56-54, somehow stays under 115. The game went to overtime, I believe, but UNT takes down Utah Valley. Utah Valley gets the cover, and Utah Valley's coach goes to, I think, Cal Golden Bears. Gets the head coach there looking to revive a dead program in California right now. So we'll get to that, I imagine, tomorrow amongst the massive slate of baseball games. Not sure what the schedule looks like for tomorrow. I believe I will be in the afternoon, but might be a little after. I know there's a majority of the games going off tomorrow or noon or 3 o'clock, so I might be a little later bringing home the nightcap there, whether it's myself and Jeff Dawson, I'm not sure. But as far as tomorrow's games go, I know Friday's a shorter day with only 5 games going, and a lot of teams getting the day off, whether it's for weather or typically that's how the season starts. But I do believe just about everybody, if not everybody, is in action tomorrow. You've got some really nice pitching matchups. I'm biased, but Dylan Cease versus Framber Valdez is a pretty damn solid start there. 6 o'clock game on ESPN tomorrow. Houston hosted my White Sox. Interesting. It's going to be a huge season. I shouldn't say huge season in that sense. It is a huge season for us to either, live up to what we've been trying to these last couple of years, or potentially go into the dumpster. And change paths entirely there. So, really interested to see how that entire series goes. 4 games against Houston. Obviously, banner unveiling, ring unveiling. Not sure what they've got going on. Braves to kick off the day. I think a couple games kicking off the day on MLB Network. Jeff and I talked about it for a second yesterday. Max Fried and the Braves up against Patrick Corbin and Washington, and the Braves minus 240. They're going to be a lightning rod this year, I imagine. A lot of odds suggest that they are going to be a team to beat for sure. I saw somebody, and I kind of agree with them. If you had to pick one team to win 100 games, the Atlanta Braves might be one of those teams to pick. I know I don't want to speak for Jeff Dawson, but I know how much he respects Spencer Strider over there. Obviously, Max Fried getting the opening day start. He could be in for a huge season this year as well. And they've got plenty of other talent as well. Strider on Saturday, I know. I'm looking to see what their I don't think they've got a starter for that third day yet, though. So, and then after that, you've got the old Yanks hosting San Francisco. Logan Webb versus Garrett Cole. Solid matchup there. Corey Kluber getting the opening day start for the Red Sox over on the East Coast there, and then some other plenty of other action. I'm not going to go through each of these games. That'll be capped off nicely tomorrow. So as far as tonight's NBA is concerned, and then maybe we'll circle back and I'll give some random thoughts on the MLB. Tonight you've got Milwaukee and Indiana kicking off the night at 6 o'clock my time, 7 o'clock East Coast time. Milwaukee 11.5-point favorites. But as Jeff mentioned about the old Celtics last night, Celtics lose to the Wizards with no Bradley Beal as, I don't remember, it might have been 11.5-point favorites with a look-ahead spot to Thursday, Boston and Milwaukee. Milwaukee now, first night of a back-to-back here, still 11.5-point favorites against Indiana. Indiana puncher's chance here to catch the Bulls for the 10th spot in the East. Not likely at all. They have not been playing good basketball by any means. They've lost 3 in a row. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't be touching this one at all. Like I said, first night of a back-to-back from Milwaukee with a massive game tomorrow. It is kind of eye-opening to see them still at 11.5, but that's just the way the Pacers have been playing. That's obviously the way the Bucks have been playing. They've been playing great. Would not be surprised to see. I see Chris Middleton questionable for tonight. Giannis probable. Would not be surprised to see any of them taking the night off with the 2-night back-to-back and tomorrow night's game being huge. So I'm staying so far away from that game. It's not even funny. 237 is the total in that one. Not like I said, I'm not touching it, but wouldn't be surprised to see that one flying over regardless of who's playing in that one. And to tie it all together, still seeing plenty of public buy-in to the Bucks. Not saying Pacers like it was with the Wizards last night, but definitely buyer beware with what the Celtics got going on tomorrow night in the first night of with the Bucks going on tomorrow night, playing the Celtics, and tonight, first night of a back-to-back with tomorrow being far more important than this Pacers game here. Next one up, this one's on ESPN's Dallas at Philly. 4-point spread in Philadelphia. Sixers hosting the Mavericks. I believe this one, according to my notes here, opened at 5.5, down to 4 here. I believe technically you've got Embiid questionable. Same thing with Harden. So with the non-conference matchup here, that one could reasonably see either of them taking the night off of this one. They are not firmly in the 3 spot. They're 2 games up on Cleveland, but would be pretty unlikely to see them fall out of that, obviously. So they might be thinking tonight is a rest night. Dallas finally won one 2 nights ago against Indiana after a little bit of a losing stretch. So you could see their offense finally piece it together and kind of turning things around. I would be nervous of the Sixers, not taking this non-conference opponent as seriously. I'm going to lean towards Dallas on this one, but it's another one that is certainly a little sketchy here on this one. Dallas should have some sense of urgency. They are tied for the 10th seed right now. 10-11 seeding in the West is tied between OKC and Dallas, half game behind the Lakers, 1 game behind the Pelicans, 2 games behind Minnesota, 2.5 behind Golden State, who's in the 6th seed right now. So they get hot and win 5-6 games here. They're down the stretch. They can jump all the way up to the 6th seed. If they don't take care of business, they'll be on the outside looking in. So they should have some urgency here tonight. Maybe that's going to be driving some of this number a little bit, and you could have a lot of action on them, but I don't see them as much of a public darling as you might expect with that scenario going on. on the road in Philly the way they've been playing Dallas. So I will lean towards the Mavericks tonight, but with that one being on ESPN, I'll leave that one alone. Miami and the Knicks. Knicks 4.5 point favorites at home here tonight at MSG. I believe Jimmy Butler is back tonight. Last night he took the night off against Toronto. They lost by 14. I was wrong about that one, and Miami having a nice chance to cover. Jimmy, I do believe, is back in the lineup. It looks like he is probable. So 4.5. This one's been kind of jumping around like this here today. I'll lean towards Miami again here, but not overly confident in it. These two teams, as far as standings go, New York is kind of firmly in the 11th spot. They're 2.5 up on Brooklyn for the 6, few games behind Cleveland. So they're kind of here in the driver's seat in the 5 spot there. It's definitely in the top 6. But obviously, if they lost this game to Miami, Miami would be 2 games behind them. Miami should have a sense of urgency. They want to get up into that 6th seed. You would imagine they're a half game behind Brooklyn, sitting in that 7th seed right now. Get into the 6th seed, you don't have to worry about any playing action. You get the guaranteed series, obviously. So you win some games here. They're 40-36. You could absolutely see them jumping up there. So maybe the Knicks are taking this one seriously. Maybe that's part of it here. I'll lean towards the Heat again here. But at the end of the day, I could see that one going either which way. The Heat have been pretty solid. They've lost 2 in a row, been pretty solid at avenging their losses and bouncing back. The Knicks 2 nights ago get a 137-115 win after 3 straight losses. So again, I'll lean towards the Miami Heat in this one, taking care of the cover, but I could see this one coming down to it and this one being one of the better games of the night. I'm going to skip over Brooklyn and Houston. Brooklyn minus 10.5. They obviously have not been playing well. Houston, one of the 3 tankathon teams here, they've been losing their faces off. I think health-wise, I think both these teams are all right tonight. But at the end of the day, I am not touching this one. I don't want any part of Brooklyn as 10.5-point favorites, and I certainly am not getting in the way of this tankathon here in Houston. If anyone's got a good edge, let me know, and I'm all ears on that one because I am staying far away from that one. Pardon me there. Clippers and Memphis is the 7 o'clock my time, 8 o'clock game. Clippers minus 3 on the road in this one. I do believe we've got some type of news here for Memphis. I think John Moran is still doubtful to return tonight. Actually, I'm not sure. He might be questionable. I could be, my info might be wrong, but I thought I saw he wasn't in the lineup tonight. And aside from that, they've got some depth issues tonight. Clippers coming off of a win against my Bulls a couple days ago. Memphis has won a handful of games in a row. They've won 7 games in a row. So to see them as dogs here at home with the winning streak, I'm not going to jump in front of the winning streak, but this seems like it could be a night that the winning streak goes by the wayside. Clippers have been going back and forth, though. Not fantastic without Paul George. Not anything special without him. So, this one's anybody's ball game. I'll lean towards the Clippers getting the road win, but I could see this one going a lot of different ways. Obviously, if anyone's got any info on John Morant that I'm missing, please let me know. I obviously didn't have the best update on that one there. Detroit and OKC. OKC minus 9.5 at home over Detroit. Another tankathon team in Detroit. Oklahoma City coming off of a loss of Charlotte. Wouldn't put them in quite the same category as Pistons, Spurs, and Rockets. They are that next category there. Not too far off from them by any means. But they've been a lot better down the stretch than these 2 teams. They're 26-51 as compared to these other 3 teams, and still not cracking 20 wins. So they lost to Charlotte last night. Coming off of that loss here in the second night of a back-to-back, they are, as I mentioned, they're tied with Dallas right now, so they need to win this game. They cannot afford 2 straight losses to Charlotte and Detroit when they're trying to get into that play-in at the very least and have a shot. As far as the spread goes, I have no idea what to expect out of this one. I am a little surprised to see this one single digits. I might lean towards Detroit keeping it close and staying within that 9.5. But at the end of the day, I would be really surprised to see OKC losing 2 nights in a row to the Hornets and the Pistons down the stretch when they're trying to lock in a top 10 seed here. So I would, lean towards, or not lean towards. I would be, as I mentioned, shocked to see OKC lose again. But the spread, I almost lean towards the Pistons, keeping it close enough, and keeping it single digits there. 3 games left. Jazz and Spurs, another one here with one of these tankathon teams, but only a 4-point spread. The Jazz, I believe Lauri Markkanen is out tonight. However, for the Spurs, I do see Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell out tonight. Keldon Johnson, as I always mention, this is a number that should be pretty surprising and has lit up my eyes for most of the season on the Spurs. I've taken, for a team that is not profitable on the spread overall in the entire season, I have taken enough winnings off of the Spurs team as one of my, teams to find an edge on whenever they have a number like this kind of screaming at you. So I would absolutely go Spurs or nothing, but no, Keldon Johnson has always been kind of my red flag. And I shouldn't say red flag, as contradicting the numbers, but he has been their offense. Obviously, if I've got wrong information and he's playing tonight, then I would really like the Spurs play. But their offense without him is a little, even with him, obviously, isn't very good. But there really isn't any go-to scorers without him. So I'll definitely go Spurs or nothing, but with no Keldon Johnson. And with they've treated me this season, treated me nicely despite their awful season, I'm going to step aside and sit on the bench for that one. But I'm definitely in Spurs there against the Jazz. 35-40 Jazz. They've kind of finally hit the free fall. They are 1.5 games, still a chance, but 1.5 games out of the playoff, or the play-in, behind Dallas and OKC. Would be surprised to see them putting together a run to get back into that top 10. They've lost 4 in a row. So again, I'll lean towards the Spurs and the points in that one. Suns hosting the Wolves, 4.5 points. 4.5 point, 5-point favorite are the Suns. I believe, as we've been leading up to, this should be the return of Kevin Durant tonight. And I believe this is the second ESPN game tonight. Yep, it is, with Kevin Durant coming back. So I'm going to stay away from it with it being ESPN and the return of Kevin Durant. A lot of times these returns we've seen, or arrivals, whatever you want to call it, haven't gone that well, and the public floods the the side, in this case Kevin Durant's side. Not telling you to go either which way. I would have definitely, especially with Phoenix at home, would have respected a much bigger number than this. If I was feeling good about the Suns with Kevin Durant in this one, maybe he doesn't play that much tonight, and that's why this one isn't as high as it is, but I'm definitely leaning towards Minnesota and the points, but again, not trying to touch it. ESPN game with the return of Kevin Durant. Durant could be fantastic, and they could win by 20. But my point is, this one is not really at a point where I respect it at all. Suns in the 4 spot right now. Can't go any higher. They can definitely go lower, though. They are a half game behind the Clippers, who are in the 5 spot. 1 game ahead of Golden State in the 6 spot. 1.5 games ahead of Minnesota, who is in the 7th spot, who obviously wants to jump into that 6th seed. So if Minnesota wins this game, you've got a half game separating these two teams, who at the current standing are 4 and 7. Obviously, Minnesota loses. They're 2 games behind, or 2 games ahead of the 11th seed team in Dallas. So this one is a massive game tonight. Again, Suns and the return of Kevin Durant, they can't go any higher. They can slip down further, and obviously they'd like to have a home court advantage in their opening series against whoever it may be, as opposed to having to go to either the Clippers or Golden State. That would be a nightmare. Maybe if you're playing the Clippers on the road, you're missing Paul George in that first round, which obviously would be fine. But the point is, you don't want to be the lose home court advantage and have to go to, certainly not Golden State this year. So there should be some sense of urgency. But at the end of the day, I am leaning towards Minnesota in this one. In the return of Kevin Durant. These two teams this year, this will be the third, actually, no, it's the 4th matchup between them, The Suns won the first 2. Minnesota won the last one at Minnesota back in January. The first 2 were back all the way in November. Obviously, completely different teams in all 3 of those games with no Kevin Durant and the guys that the Suns had previously. So, last one up. Sacramento and Portland should have ended with the other one, ended on a better note than this. Sacramento and Portland. Sacramento minus 14 on the road in Portland for this one. Should be a decent number of Kings fan, obviously, on the West Coast there. But Portland sitting most of their guys. I know Damian Lillard, as I talked last time, we talked about them a couple days ago. Lillard is shut down for the season. They've also got, I don't know about their other guys being shut down. A lot of their other guys are at least out for this game tonight as well. Anthony Simons is out, Nurkic out, Jeremy Grant out. So that's why you're seeing this one at 14. Kings coming off of a loss to the Wolves 2 nights ago. The Kings keep going with the theme of updating. They're third in the standings, pretty supplanted. Cannot, maybe mathematically might be able to if they lost all of their games, slide. Can't really slide down, though. They're 3 games behind Memphis. If they win tonight, Memphis loses. Only 2 games behind them, so maybe they can gun for that number 2 seed. But most likely they are the 3 seed there. And could face a number of teams if they're the 3 versus 6 matchup. So there shouldn't be too much of a sense of urgency, but obviously this Portland team, especially after sitting their starters, 90 to 124 loss the other night. It was ugly. And so if the Kings are playing and ready to rock, then the Kings should absolutely destroy them. But I'm not trying to touch a 14-point spread here. You could raise this one to 15, 16, and you're still probably getting Kings money on it. So I would not touch this one with the 10-foot pole. Wish I wouldn't have ended on that one. And on a better note, actually, I got to eat my words, and I do this all the time. The Bulls and Lakers are the last one up, not chronologically time-wise. So we can end on a better note than that one. So I was wrong about that. Whenever I do that, it's at the top of my page because I got the Bulls listed as a favorite team. But they are home. This one went from, within the last hour or so, went from 2.5 back up to 3.5. Lakers at the Bulls. Bulls just beat the Lakers on, I believe it would have been Saturday. First day of a back-to-back. Then they went to stayed there in LA and lost to the Clippers by 12. So could be a bit of a Lakers have not played since that game. Lakers could be a bit of a revenge spot. Pat Bev kind of mocking LeBron James with the too small celebration, taunt, whatever you want to call it. So could be a hell-bent LeBron James tonight to try and get that revenge on the Bulls. Also, they're the 9 seed right now, only a half game ahead of OKC and Dallas. So probably going to see a playoff-type effort from the Lakers. The Bulls, obviously, though, have been playing a lot better. They are a game and a half, or 2 games and a half ahead of Washington for the 11th. Game and a half back of the 8 and 9 spot. You would love to jump into the 8 or 9 spot, preferably the 8 spot, obviously, if not the 9. But certainly trying to lock up the 10 seed. So I think this could be a really good game. I think as the number is increasing, I do think the Lakers are in a good spot for some revenge tonight. I think the number is getting away from you now. I think if you're interested in the Lakers, it's probably too late to jump into this one, and you're getting probably a bad number. And if you're playing it like that, you might be interested in the Bulls because this number was, if this is correct, this was opened up at about a pick'em when this one opened. And has kind of slowly churned up to, like I said, I think it was an hour ago, I even saw 2.5. Now it's at 3.5. So the way it's ballooned, I think the Bulls could keep it within 3.5. But I do like the Lakers to get some revenge. Like I said, I would feel more confident that you're getting a full-fledged playoff effort from LeBron James than anything I would see on the Bulls. But the Bulls have, you look at a lot of numbers since the All-Star break, the Bulls have been one of the better teams since the All-Star break. Not saying anything about what's going to happen the next month or so, just saying they've been a lot better on a day-to-day basis. Didn't play fantastic defense against the Clippers the other day. Was the second night of a back-to-back. So maybe you're getting a good effort from the Bulls. Maybe you want to stay away from this one altogether. I think if you caught the Lakers earlier in the day, that was a good spot for you. But at this point, I think it's a little too late to jump in the Lakers. Maybe even consider the Bulls at this point. I don't know. But now that about does it here for the NBA tonight. I mentioned I'm not diving into anything NHL wise. Don't know what to help you with that from that one. That is not my forte. Golf picks. I don't have any specific golf picks to give out to you. I mentioned next week Masters. This week still a solid tournament. Not the biggest names, but still a solid tournament. I'll try and have something out tonight as far as some of my thoughts on that. So stay tuned. But aside from that, I don't know the schedule exactly tomorrow, but I know Jeff's got some programming planned for the start of MLB tomorrow, and I know he's obviously excited about that. That is one of his specialties on top of college basketball, which he's been destroying over the past few months here. So without further ado, I will get out of here. If you're wagering tonight or the rest of the week, wager responsibly. Stay true to who you are. I'm not going to go on. I wish I knew Jeff's exact spiel on his closer. If you have a problem, call. There is a number to call. Ask for help. we want to see here, 2023 and beyond. So there's always somebody to talk to. But without further ado, good luck tonight if you've got anything going on in the NBA or NHL or anywhere else. And good luck tomorrow on all of your baseball picks and the rest of the weekend. I am absolutely excited. I will be planning on having some type of content as far as White Sox content goes. I'm not sure exactly what I'll do. 82 games for the Bulls was tough to churn something out for every single game. So I don't know that I'll do 162 blogs for White Sox stuff, but I will have some type of fairly consistent content for the White Sox. If you're interested in that, stay tuned. So without further ado, I will get out of here. Thank you, anybody who stopped by and watched and listened along with me. And as I mentioned, best of luck the rest of the way. I will see y'all tomorrow.